Alright, something a little different. This is my KWA M4 RIS Airsoft gun. It started life off looking just like a Block 1 M4, but I changed some things around so it's kind of emulating a Mark 18 Mod 1 build because it's pretty much the closest thing I can get to an SBR here in California. Changed some things out externally. I'll go over them. Up front, we got a classic Army NT4 style suppressor. Put this on here not only because it looks cool and I can't get them here in California, but because it hides the inner barrel. It's got a longer inner barrel than the outer barrel will protect. So the actual barrel of this weapon comes out about to here. So if I didn't have the suppressor, I'd have a big long copper tube sticking out the front of my gun. Got a D-Boys KAC style flip-up sight. It works just like the real thing. Only difference that I know of is it doesn't have the little grooves that the real Knights Armament flip-up sight does. I have a Mad Bull Daniel Defense licensed RIS II. This is pretty much it's really similar to the real thing. A couple differences. One, the anodizing job. This one's kind of shiny. It's kind of hard to explain. The real ones are kind of a drab, non-reflective finish. This one kind of sparkles when light hits it. So another thing, it's a lot lighter. You can tell they used less durable metal materials. And the bolt-up system plate that locks the rail system to the upper receiver doesn't have a hole for a gas block. So if you were inclined to try to put it on your real gun, even though I don't think it'd work out too well, you can't unless you pull out the drill and do a little bit of modification. This is a replica Tango down grip. I got it from eHobby Asia. When I got it, it's supposed to be in the dark earth color. I couldn't even tell what color it was. It was somewhere in between LaRue's Urban Dark Earth and Foliage Green. It was definitely not flat dark earth. And it doesn't really mount up too well. It's got a lot of play, wobbles. My real Tango down that I got on my Scar 17S locks on so tightly that I have to use a hammer to move it. So it's kind of disappointing that this thing is so flimsy, but it's a piece of crap knockoff from China, so what do you expect? Up here I got a fake PEC 15 box. A lot of people use these to store batteries in. I just got it because it's got a cool little laser and it makes my gun look like the real thing. Funny thing is the laser comes out of the illuminator in the real thing. But the laser actually comes in handy. I played a night game a couple weeks ago where I was able to designate targets for my team using the laser, and that was kind of cool. I got a fake EOTech 553 or SU 231. It looked really good. Before I painted it, it looked just like the real thing. I guess a little lighter than the real one, but it was a pretty good replica. On the outside, the reticle, as you can see, it's pretty faithful to the actual EOTech reticle. It's a red dot though, it's not actually a holographic sight, and it's pretty weak. When you go outside it gets faded out pretty easily by the sunlight. And the worst part about it is the adjustment knobs are pretty much cosmetic. Doesn't change the point of impact at all. It doesn't work, so trying to aim with it's kind of futile. It's just kind of there to look cool, which is, I guess, kind of part of the whole point of playing airsoft. People want to look cool, so it does its job there. It's got some CDI factor, but not really too useful for real life. Backup sight, I don't know who made this sight. I got it off eBay for 14 bucks, but it's a pretty fair representation of the Knights Armament 600 meter backup sight. The KWA came with this SOP mod style stock. I love the SOP mod stocks. I have on most of my real AR builds. Great cheek weld. Battery goes in the back right here. The buttstock, the little pad and the real thing It's just a plastic hollow piece in this, so it's not as comfortable as a real one. Batteries attach right here to this little fuse thing. Little fuse goes here, plugs in here. Stick the battery in the storage compartment. One cool thing about this stock is, unlike a lot of the other SOP mod stocks and airsoft guns, you can actually collapse it all the way. Some of them, like the classic Karma ones, you can't. For a sling mount, I use a Dieter CQD sling. This is a real one. I bought it, and then of course they came out with a clone of them right afterwards, so I paid full price for the real thing. But oh well. I use a Blackhawk CQC sling. It's a decent sling, nothing to write home about though. It's not like too cool. It works. It's got hooks in. The rear sling mount came with the weapon, so that's cool. You have to put any money out for that. Internally, this thing's completely stock. KWAs are known to have really good internals. It says LiPo ready out of the box. I'm kind of afraid to run LiPo because I hear horror stories about how they burn people's houses down, and I'm not too eager to strip all the gears inside this thing. I just use a regular 9.6V battery. It gives me a decent rate of fire, generally around 12 to 15 rounds per second. I'm not shooting like 30 like some people where you run the LiPo. For velocity, using .2 BBs with the hop up turned all the way down, I'm shooting about 385, and I've got a couple thousand rounds for this already, so that's probably where the spring settled. It's not too bad. Most field limits around here around 400 feet per second, so I'm able to keep up with most people. Chronoing it with .25s like I normally use, with the hop up adjust a little bit, it's shooting around 360. Range is a little less when I'm using the .25s, but my grouping's pretty good. I'd say the effective range is about 120 feet, but you got to kind of lob it at the target. You're not really pointing and aiming as much as you're shooting mortar rounds at them. Shooting high and hoping that they end up falling on your target, because these things don't really have the greatest of range. Gave it a little desert paint job. You can see the little snakeskin pattern. I used a laundry bag. Rust-Oleum khaki is the base, and then Rust-Oleum dark earth as the earth brown as it is for the stripes. I'm kind of OCD. I always wanted to paint a real gun, but I was afraid of screwing it up. This thing right here costs like as much as a butt stock on one of the real ARs, so I figured if I screwed it up, it wouldn't be too big of a deal. So anyways, that's about it. If you got any questions or comments, just leave them.